First is the doctor. I invite Dr. Rajesh Joshi to speak on surgical pulse to deal with the subluxated cataract. Rajesh.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. I will be talking on surgical pulse to deal with subluxated cataract. Nothing to disclose. Now, before we go on to the surgical pulse, let us see what are the indications for surgical procedure. Subluxated cataractus lens, gross amount of refractive error due to subluxation, impending subluxation of the lens due to large zonular dehiscence wherein lens is going to fall into the vitreous cavity or coming into the anterior chamber, lens induced glaucoma, lens in the anterior chamber. Now, there are various fixation devices which are available and you have to choose them judiciously depending upon the clock hours of the subluxation. If you have less than 4 hours subluxation, then you can fix the bag with the help of capsular tension ring or with the help of capsular tension segments. If you have subluxation between 4 to 9 o'clock hours, modified capsular tension ring, that is Sionis ring or a combination of capsular tension ring and segment. Now, pearl number 1 is the incision. How to place our incision, that is very important for the perfect outcome of the procedure. It should be away from the zonal dehiscence area, both the incision, that is side port, and the main incision. Staining with trypan blue helps in the identification of the age of the entry capsule while placing the capsular tension ring, but put the small amount of dye into the anterior chamber, because what happens if you put too much amount of dye into the anterior chamber, that can go into the vitreous cavity and stain the vitreous. Pearl number 2 is plug the area with high molecular weight viscoelastic. If you have subluxation here, you should plug the area with high molecular weight viscoelastic, because if you don't plug it, that can cause the vitreous loss from that area. Pearl number 3 is CCC. It is mandatory for the placement of endocapsular ring. Creation of anterocapsular flap with the help of 26 gauge bent needle is important, because if you pinch the capsule, it can further compromise the zonules. And rotating the flap with the help of capsular axis forceps or with the help of 26 gauge needle, with whatever you are comfortable with, make it slightly eccentric, because once you pull the bag with the help of capsular tension ring or with the help of capsular hook, the capsular axis should come into the center part of the pupil. It is mandatory for the placement of endocapsular ring. Now, how to identify the zonal weakness? Usually seen while performing the capsular axis. You can see the folds on the anterior chamber, anterior capsule. There will be difficulty in pulling the capsule. Movement of the lens is also seen, and you can see the extravasation of the dye from the zonules. The nucleus will be difficult to rotate while performing the chopping of the nucleus. Hydro procedure, hydrodissection should be gentle. Don't use too much of fluid for hydrodissection, and you should avoid the rotation of the nucleus. You can see the extravasation of the dye from the zonular area. Now, the timing of placement of endocapsular ring is debatable. You can place it after the CCC, that is before management of the nucleus, or after the nucleus and cortical removal. These are the various types and sizes of bag fixation devices. First is a traditional capsular tension ring. Second is a modified. You can see a small eyelet here, and the capsular tension segment. Most commonly used size is between 11 to 13 millimeter, because most of the patients, they are having axial length between 23 to 28 millimeter. And if you have a large bag, you can use larger size of the endocapsular ring. Now, placement of endocapsular ring before the nucleus management. Once you have rhexis, the advantage of this that makes the surgery safe, because you know that your bag is well supported by endocapsular ring. Ring provides equatorial support to the bag. It prevents zonular stress on the zonules. But the disadvantage of placing the endocapsular ring before the nucleus management is that it makes the cortical aspiration difficult, and insertion of the endocapsular ring makes the zonule weak. So don't delay too much for the placement of endocapsular ring. That is the dictum. Now, how do we place the endocapsular ring? Once you have aspirated the loose cortex either with the help of the FICO probe or with the help of bimanual irrigation aspiration, place the viscoelastic so that there is a space between the anterocapsular ring and the nucleus. And you can either place it single-handedly or with the help of two hands. Once you have the ring in the black, the trailing eyelet should be hooked with the help of the dialer, and the second dialer, which is instilled through the main incision, places the ring into the bag. This is another way to implant the endocapsular ring. Once you have endocapsular ring in the zonular dehiscence area, you can see the zonular dehiscence here and placing the endocapsular ring. But at the same time, by pushing the dialer through the main incision, I am supporting the shaft of the endocapsular ring and at the same time placing the ring into the bag. So that prevents the zonular stress. It can be placed after the nucleus removal also. You can see zonular dehiscence area near the incision site, and this part of the capsulorhexis has straightened up. So while placing the endocapsular ring, place the ring in such a way that it negotiates the dehiscence area first, and then the rest of the ring can be dialed into the bag as I have just described. Now, nucleus management, you can do whatever way you are performing your nucleus management, but I prefer to go with the CHOP technique because it puts less stress on the zonules and it is a quick procedure. This is how you can chop the nucleus and make it into pieces and remove it with whatever parameters you are using for your routine phacoemulsification procedure. Now, cortex aspiration is very important thing. You have to remember that there is some zonular dehiscence area and you should avoid the radial stripping of the cortex. You should do it in a tangential way. Push your aspirating cannula beneath the capsular rhexis margin and don't pull the cortex radially. You should sweep it beneath the capsular rhexis margin in a tangential manner. Bring the cortex in the central area and then aspirate the cortex. This is the way to aspirate the cortex once you have removed the nucleus. Now, if the subluxation is more than 4 o'clock hour, you need to fix the bag with the modified capsular tension ring. For that, you have to create a Hoffman pocket here and between the Hoffman pocket or scleral tunnel. The site should be little bit away from 3 to 9 o'clock position because the long posterior ciliary artery enters at this area, and supporting the bag with the help of iris hooks or capsular hooks, and then aspirating the cortex with the help of IA probe or with the help of Simcoe's cannula, and railroading the capsular tension ring or modified capsular ring inside the bag by hooking with the help of 9-0 or 10-0 Prolene. 9-0 Prolene is preferred over 10-0 Prolene, and fix the ring into the sclera. This is how you can fix the ring and then place the intraocular lens inside the bag. So take home message from this lecture is choose ECR or CTR capsular tension ring depending upon the clock hours of subluxation. Incision should be away from the zonular area. Use high molecular weight viscoelastic to plug the dehiscence area. Guide the center capsular tension ring in the back properly. Do not delay too much while implanting the endocapsular ring, and prefer CHOP technique and irrigation aspiration of the cortex by tangential technique instead of aspirating the cortex in a radial manner. So thank you so much for your patience listening. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Rajesh, for excellent elaboration of the all the point of management of the subluxated cataract and key points too. As it is a vast subject, we have to highlight some